Welcome back to the Sword of Truth podcast, the chapter by chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with a lust for craft brew on the side. I'm Jade, and I'm here with Nate and Aaron. On this episode, we are chasing Chapter 3 of Soul of the Fire!
That was beautiful. Thank you.
And here we are.
And here we are.
I want to clarify, I was dancing that whole time. So for those of you who were saying, like, how come Aaron's not supporting her as a backup singer? I was a dancer.
God.
As you so frequently remind me, audio medium, my guy.
I thought you were saying that he so frequently reminds you that he's a dancer.
That I am a dancer.
He's a dancer.
I've always said I'm a dancer.
Jade and I are getting ready to record, and Aaron's on the other end of the table just saying, I just want to dance.
With his ribbon.
Yes, I have my ribbon on a stick. I twirl. I do leaps and kick my feet.
This has been our moment of truth for today.
The moment of truth is we're live now, but there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you really want to do, that is perfectly fine.
You follow your dream, bud.
It's only ironic when Aaron does it.
Well, I do it ironically.
I don't know.
I think.
I don't think so.
I don't think you do, bud. I think maybe that's just something you like now.
That's okay. You know what? We support you.
Well, thank
Cheers.
you. Yeah, we could cheers to that. Cheers to dancing.
Fuck toxic masculinity. I'm a dancer now.
I have said that on a number of occasions, yes.
Okay, so the chapter opens, and Kahlan and Richard are having a nice bath. They have found the perfect spring to spring in to. Some are too hot, some are too cold. This is a really, Goldilocks in the three ponds situation.
Yeah,
but they find the right
Goldilocks
one.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a nice little sexy bath. The Kara and the hunters are giving privacy, but they're still watching the perimeter, so we are safe.
Back a little ways, like we were talking about.
A respectable distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's happy that they have the alone time and that she can show him this special little place that she knows of, which is surprising. I wonder how many times on her, like, diplomatic journeys, she was like, I'm gonna go take a naked dip in your springs.
Oh, you meant the lake. I thought she was talking about something else.
Oh, you're funny.
Sorry.
Speaking of that, I was surprised, okay?
I know this special little place, Richard.
In these last couple chapters, we've seen them naked a few times. Mm-hmm. We've seen them post-coitus.
Oh, yeah.
But we have not, and we've seen a little, like, flirty comments back and forth, a little light touching, but we really haven't seen Horny Terry, like, actually peeking out of the water yet. Like, I was actually surprised that we didn't get a little, like, we're naked in this pond and nobody's around, it's warm, it feels nice, like, nothing's popping up, you know? Well, okay, fine, we're just getting clean. That's fine.
It is surprising that Horny Terry was not unsheathed. I mean, it's just like, I thought for sure that he would, like you said, he'd kind of make an appearance. Yeah. Like, even just, like, the tip of Horny Terry. Like, we don't have to go full Horny Terry. Like, you don't have to full penetrate into Horny Terry.
Just a little nipple grab.
We can just see how it feels. Yeah. I don't know why Horny Terry didn't try to see how it felt.
Like, I think the thing that makes me most surprised about this is that we've seen Richard and Kahlan have sex in the spirit world.
Yes.
He described it. A lot of it. We've seen them have sex in the kind of, they weren't actually both knowledgeable that they were fucking each other.
Weird situation.
Yeah. Fully described in detail.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they're actually able to fuck in their marital quote unquote bed, we don't get to see any graphic details. Okay, cool. Fine. I'm fine with this.
We know that Horny Terry has the tools to do this. Okay. And honestly, I think the lack of Horny Terry here is not Horny Terry being a bit of a prick.
I was trying to keep count, and I think that's 7 innuendos in a row now.
Phallus.
I just think they're
I'm
all
not going
wet,
to count that.
you know?
To be fair, I'm not going to count that. No, what I was
They're
going to say
all
is
wet and naked and perfect.
yeah, it
So
sets the
what are we
scene,
doing?
but the difference is that was before like Night of Honeymoon Kahlan, and this is post Night of Honeymoon Kahlan. So now he's back to remind you that she can be all sexy and naked in the water, but she's a pure being again. And
It
so
kind of feels like
she
that's
can't be
what
sullied
happened.
now.
We can hear about it when it's Richard. But once Kahlan gets involved, there's always less horny Terry.
I just don't understand. I'm just, you only have they keep harping. They only have a minimal amount of time. You're not slipping it in there? Okay. I'm done slipping it in there. We're going to talk. Richard decides to bring up the chicken not being a chicken.
Mhm.
That's what's more important in this moment.
Let's go back to the cock.
Yeah. Kahlan thinks that the Birdman was just drunk. So she's not fucking worried about it, and she's surprised that Richard keeps bringing it up.
So apparently, this is now full confirmation that there was the quick, hey, what's up with that chicken? Don't know, but the Birdman said it wasn't. And then they stopped talking about it for the remainder of time until this point now.
Yeah.
So there was no follow-ups.
Everyone just stared at the chicken in silence for 3 whole seconds and then went, well, see you later, and walked over to the lake.
It is interesting because she was the one who was immediately struck off guard and like worried when she heard the Birdman fucking say the chicken thing. She was like, oh.
Yeah.
So now she's just like, oh, no, he's just drunk. No big deal. I would be worried too, though. I don't care if he's drunk. This is the bird expert.
Yes.
And he was like, even if I wasn't worried, I would still be talking about it. I'd be like, the drunk man who is the bird expert was talking about that fucking chicken. We would be laughing about it at the very fucking least. We'd be like, what's up with those chickens? You know what I mean?
I would think you would want to bring him the newly dead chicken and then point at that one and be like, is that one a chicken? Let's compare. What's going on with this guy now?
Even if Richard didn't think the phrase the chicken's not a chicken, that the Birdman, that Kahlan translates from the Birdman, if he didn't find that worrying, I have a very hard time believing that Richard would not see Kahlan get visibly upset at something and then offer zero explanation to other than, the Birdman's drunk. Richard would have seeked the truth in this moment,
Well,
I think.
I think that's the thing, is that he didn't dispute it or anything. He didn't talk about it, which is a little strange.
Yeah.
But he is asking, he keeps bringing, being like, this is sexy time, but actually, I want to talk about chickens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going
As
to
you
wait
do.
until it's sexy time to talk about the chickens.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have talked on the road. That way you get that figured out, and then boom, bath time.
This is why we always skip the walking parts, because... Okay, so they're just hanging out in the water, they're floating, it's great. Something like Richard's cloak, his golden shimmering cloak, moves. And then something shimmers in the water. Maybe unrelated. I don't know. Maybe it's a fish.
Could be
Nobody
the wind.
fucking
Could be
knows.
some fish.
Richard!
Happens all the time.
You would think. Like clouds. Clouds passing over the sun could make
Oh,
it
yeah,
shimmer,
or reflection.
right?
Yeah.
This happened to us while we were on the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw something move, and I kept my eye in that spot to see maybe it's a root from a tree, or, wood sticks out of the river, can pop your tube. It's bad. But I never saw it again, and I was like, okay, so that was an alive thing for sure.
Cool.
I never saw it
Yeah.
again. And it wasn't a big deal.
To be fair, if you're putting your bits in the water, this is wild water. There's going to be some stuff in there.
Their territory.
But Richard gets all sus about it immediately. He stands up and lifts her out of the water, just balls swinging.
Well, ball swinging. It did mention that the water was clear. And you had mentioned that it was a pebble bottom or something. So it's clear water. So he should have been able to see the thing that made the ripples.
Yes, at this point they do an evaluation, or at least Kahlan does, because we're in her brain, not really Richard's. They don't see anything in the water. She gets back in. Richard's still acting kind of suspicious, but the warm water feels amazing, and she can see that nothing's in there because there's a gravel bottom. There's no fucking weeds or anything, so she can see right down.
I'm fully with Kahlan here. I love a situation where the water is actually a little bit warmer than the air. That is cozy. You do the thing where you're in an awkward as fuck situation, but only your head's sticking out of the water. You might got a weird kneeling thing going on underneath, but it's okay because you feel great.
Have you guys ever done the polar bear dip?
The polar bear. Oh, I've done ice baths.
No,
yeah.
I watched everybody else at the camp do it, and I said,
Yeah.
you're stupid.
At camp, they would wake us up
No, I'm not doing
super early in the morning. We'd all get our suits on, and then at the camp I went to, we had to walk like a quarter mile down to the lake or so. But it'd be first thing in the morning, there's still steam rising off the water, and you would all charge into the water. I was a red swimmer, which meant I was a really good swimmer, so I could just run in. But then, the water was warmer than the air. It's only like a shock to your system for a second, and then it's like jumping back into bed.
And then you have to get out of the water.
You have to do that, which sucks, but
Yeah, no, I agree with that. When we were on the tubes, the water was actually kind of cold.
very
and
cold.
it rained,
Yeah.
so we were kind of stuck between. The rain was actually not that cold, but the water below us was, and we were getting wet, and the sun was not out while we were being rained on, so it sucked a little bit.
Warm rain. That's another one. You give me warm rain all day.
Yeah.
I do not mind getting stuck out the rain if it's a warm rain.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I've done an actual ice bath.
Oh, I've never done that. No.
I've been in Lake Superior, which is very far north into Canada territory. Many people argue probably. But yeah, I've done that in early spring where it's really fucking cold. Never done a morning thing like that. I mean, I've taken cold showers, but I've never dove into a lake early in the morning.
I don't want to hear anymore.
It's when
about
the
your
air
cold
is
shower.
colder. It's really
for
nice.
health benefits, not for those reasons.
Okay. Well, Kahlan at this point is worried about maybe snakes because Richard hasn't articulated what the fuck his problem is. So I think that her brain is going to, why would you not explain to me what you're scared of unless it was something I don't fucking like?
Yeah, she's going through a list of all of her fears. Well, it's got to be fucking snakes,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
the one thing I absolutely can't stand.
What's the one thing he wouldn't tell me that it is when it is? It's the one thing he knows I hate.
If he's paying that
Fucking
much
snakes.
attention, why the hell didn't he call out right away? Kahlan, don't worry, it's not a snake.
Right.
You don't know for sure that it's not a snake, so you're not saying it. I'm getting the fuck out of this water.
Yeah. Well, Richard just tries to calm her down by being like, you know what? I just get jumpy when bathing with naked women. And Kahlan jokes back about it.
Mhm.
She's like, oh, do you do this a lot? And you know what? Honestly, yeah, he kind of does. He has before, for sure.
We know he's for sure bathed with one woman multiple times over an extended period of time, for sure.
For sure, at least one. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a handful of other ones. I'm just going to be honest.
It is literally that meme that we've seen a lot online recently of the guy's head and then the eyeballs just kind of look away.
Yeah.
You do that a lot?
No. Kara, at this point, runs towards them aggressively, and Richard freaks the fuck out because at first he doesn't realize who it is. Her head is bloody, and she's looking for Junie, upset.
Sexy time is officially over.
Yes.
Just starting for Junie, though.
Yeah.
But I did think the image of wet, naked Richard immediately standing up and then shoving Kahlan under the water and then crouching with his knife with his balls hanging down.
What about the thing in
whole
the
thing-
water? What the shit is that?
Yeah, the whole thing just was very comical to me in my brain because she's sputtering out water. What the fuck, Richard?
I would think he would, because he sets her on the edge of the water and then puts her back in, right? So it would make sense to me if Richard went, okay, Kara's bleeding and running at us this way. Obviously, some shit's going on. Something could possibly be in the water at the same time. One, I don't know why Richard's first thought was these things are obviously connected. Let's find out why, even though they may not be. And second, get Kahlan out of the water behind some shrubbery or foliage that we know is right there, and then grab your dagger and charge at whatever it is naked, because that is terrifying.
So not the Kara running part, okay? Because that's reasonable reaction.
Yeah.
Even though it looks weird. But the whole thing about Richard kind of getting weirded out about something in the water that he doesn't quite know, This is kind of what I was referring to last episode when I said I was going to refer back to that moment in that last episode. Richard doesn't just let things go. I don't understand how he just let the chicken go. I don't understand how he just lets the Birdman sing, the chicken, tied, like you just spoke about just a few minutes ago, tied to the thing that died, the weird thing that was dead in front of our tent. That should be connected. That's a logical connection. Kara and the thing in the water, not a logical connection.
Yeah.
But he follows
I was very
that.
confused about the water thing at first.
He follows that, but not the super logical connection that happened just a little bit ago. Wild. Kara running out, I fully understand. Richard balls out, Kahlan down.
Yeah, and Kara's bleeding as well.
Yeah, bleeding from her head, no doubt.
So, shit is serious immediately.
Yeah.
But like water stuff, also, you're going to a thing, it's water.
Mhm.
Things live in it. It's not shocking to see something in the water. If Kahlan doesn't like snakes, just get out of the water. But then, he's freaked out about that.
Yeah.
But the Kara thing freak out, that makes perfect sense.
I think that the thing that's missing here, and that this doesn't kind of make sense. Richard, I'm guessing, because we don't get told this, like, it's something shimmering in the water. He is very driven by instincts, and his magic is as well. There's a chance that he got like a tug in his balls about the thing that shimmered in the water. The problem is that when Kahlan was like, explicitly fucking tell me what's going on, he still doesn't elaborate. On it. He doesn't go, I just saw something that might be a trick of the light. I'm not sure. Because he still acts sus about it. So, there is something else going on there with our protagonist that that we don't get told that's going on in his brain. And it makes us all go, what's happening there? Why is he making the jumps? Why isn't he making some jumps? Because he's doing a whole bunch of shit that we're not being told.
And this,
we don't know the stakes.
Yeah.
And this will speak more to me as a person, I think. But this is why you don't skinny dip. Skinny dipping's great until the one time it's not.
Listen.
The one time you do have to leave immediately.
Clothes.
You know what's going through Richard and Kahlan's head right now? Should have wore our bathing suits.
I just think that skinny dipping is fine if you're in like a safe place and maybe it's chlorinated and you know that there's no like bacteria or organisms that are going to crawl up in your body.
Yes. Amendment. Don't skinny dip in the wild.
Like,
do that in the comfort of your backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know there's things that can go up places, and it's not good. But anyways, Kara tells them that they should fucking get dressed, and runs away. So they follow her dressing as they run, which is not easy. They should have just stopped for like 5 seconds and put their clothes on.
And then sprinted.
It's hard enough when it's wet, right?
Oh, yeah.
I want to posit that during the scenes previous where we were like, wow, really surprised that Horny Terry didn't show his little head. Here it is.
Yeah.
Kahlan is soaking wet running while putting on her shirt. Yeah. This is like, look, we got shit to do and they are getting put away now. Sorry, everybody. But like also, Kahlan's running wet with her boobs out, putting her shirt on. Right now, he's not explicit in saying that, but this is for Horny Terry.
Well, Richard does try to stop her and tell her to get behind him.
And how do you think he did that?
Grabbing her. He grabbed her pants, actually. Like the back of her pants and like pulled her back, which was weird. And she has to remind him that, hey, motherfucker, you have no sword. You just have a little dinky ass knife, and I'm the mother confessor. So you can just stay behind me, okay?
It's
little
not
man.
that little.
Okay, little man, you just stay back there. And damn right, just because she has tits doesn't mean she's defenseless.
That's right.
Okay? But also, we need to cover those. So he puts her shirt on her when, like, I think that was actually the goal of trying to get her to go behind. He was really just like, hey, everyone can see your tits and those are mine. Okay.
Look,
well, that
go ahead and go before me, but let's just there. Now you're all buttoned up. Go ahead, do your thing. I'm not trying to stop you.
Also, I do believe, and I feel like I understand that can be a bit of a comfort issue as well. If you are going to sprint, that's a lot of flopping. And that can hurt sometimes.
Don't want to hurt that lower back.
Yeah.
Well, if she doesn't have a bra, I mean, the t-shirt isn't really going to help that much.
That's true. That's true. Maybe it was a tight t-shirt. I don't know. Well, no, she had a dress. She was wearing a dress.
We're talking
Where's she getting trousers from? What's going on
She
here?
has traveling clothes.
Did they just
You guys-
take someone else's
She has
clothes?
traveling clothes.
This is how Richard falls in the holes. This is exactly how it happens.
By the way, they don't have shoes on, which I thought was wild.
Oh yeah, sprinting in nature shoeless, not a good idea.
No. You know what I do think is a good idea, though?
I would love to hear it.
Having a beer.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm in for that.
Yeah, let's take a beer break.
When?
Like right fucking now. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Shing!
Hey, Aaron, what are we drinking today, buddy?
You know, I'm just going to let this can speak for itself because, we meet again to smuggle in a good day, courtesy of this great brew, to cool down your calloused hands and refresh your hardworking soul. Cheers to all you've done and all you've yet to do. Anytime you need to raise one for all the challenges you've risen to, crack a can and meet us at Water. Because this is from Atwater Brewery in Detroit, Michigan.
That had nothing to do with this beer.
It's on the can.
But
It's on the can.
We get it, Aaron.
This
You
beer-
don't need glasses.
This beer is a Dirty Blonde Tropical from Atwater Brewery, born in Detroit, raised everywhere. It is a wheat ale with kiwi and pineapple flavors, clocking in at 4%. There is not any sort of blurb about the beer in and of itself, but I did like that little bit about the brewery, I suppose.
Normally, I'm a big fan of wheat beers. So it comes as no surprise to say that I am also a big fan of this. This
What a
is
twist.
wheat plus citrus,
Yeah.
which is very pleasant. I really have nothing bad to say about this at all. I don't think we're in 9-10 space, though. I'm trying to adjust my rating scale just a little bit. So that 9 and 10 is really something special. But I would give this a 7.
7 cheers? You're
Yeah.
gonna get 7 cheers out of 10?
7 kiwis!
Well, yeah, 7. Okay, can you give your rating again?
So do you want?
You know what I'm asking. You motherfucker, you know what I'm asking. Don't ask for
I
clarification.
can't do that exactly, but I could do 7 girls.
Yay!
Jade?
I think, honestly, I'm going to, so a lot of times when a beer says tropical,
Mm-hmm.
it is an IPA and it is not tropical tasting.
Yeah,
It
it's
tastes-
fruit and hops.
It tastes like hops
Mhm.
and shit.
Mhm.
And I think it is honestly really bad, like misrepresentation of the beer, especially the labeling. This one was pretty good. I like it. It's fruity. It tastes like summertime. But it is also like not too wildly fruity that like a normal beer drinker I don't think would like spit it out. So I like it. I'm gonna say 7.5 kiwis.
Jade, I think you were onto something there. I drink this beer and it makes me think of a time when I had so many less worries and thoughts going through my head. It brings me back to a time when Aaron is like 10 years old. It is summer vacation and it's a Saturday on top of it being summer vacation. And I'm just watching my fucking Saturday morning cartoons because this shit tastes like fucking Fruity Pebbles to me.
Oh.
This is a 10 kiwis out of 10.
Wow.
It is a perfect
Wow.
kiwi score. 10 out of 10. Nothing more needs to be said.
Added points for Fruity Pebbles, I'd take.
Yes.
Big fan of Fruity
You get
Pebbles.
your shit tasted like Fruity Pebbles. You're perfect to me.
It's 10 of those kiwis that are cut in that way, like that really fancy way that they put them on like charcuterie boards.
Yeah, it's
Little
perfect.
spiky kiwis.
I'm not classy. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyways, with that, I think that we are all very satisfied with our beer choices. So
Oh, yes.
we will come back to you guys much refreshed in just a moment. And we're back. If you're not ready for that, that's too fucking bad. So they run close to breakneck after Kara
Mhm.
with no shoes on again. I for sure would have fucking fallen or cut my foot, and this would be a very short chapter because it would be done
Super
by now.
dangerous.
Yeah.
I'd probably be okay. I'd probably keep up.
Yeah. Fuck Junie. Jade's the problem now.
I only really thought this was interesting because they've called this exact thing out in previous books. Like, hey, just don't do that because that's really reckless and stupid. So it's like, we're there.
Hey, she said it was dumb while she was doing it. But then she kept doing it. And Richard had to keep, like, putting his hand on her to keep her going.
I do think this might be one of those things, though, where it's like, yeah, that's why that like they're doing it to convey the sense of urgency. Like, hey, don't ever do this unless you're breast. See what I mean? Unless your best friend comes running at you from the woods with blood on her head and tells you to get your fucking clothes on and get going, then yeah, we don't care about rules anymore.
Then
or
it's time.
if you're
Run.
Pocahontas and John Smith, because they do it too.
Yeah. Well, she's got a lot of experience running
Yeah, she
barefoot at
does.
least. Yeah. Kaylin and Richard, not so much. Richard, a little bit. Kaylin, not so much.
We don't know if Richard had shoes on or not when he was doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe
knows?
he likes the ground. I don't
Naked
know.
from the waist down.
Always.
Just because it's funnier that way.
He's a woods guide. Yeah. You got to be in tune with nature.
Also, honestly, it would have been a terrible idea for Kaylin to go behind Richard because then she would have fallen multiple times and he wouldn't have been there to help her out.
Yeah, she would have tripped that first time. He wouldn't have been able to put the hand out.
Right.
That's true.
And then he would have just kept running and left her there. Wouldn't have even fucking known. But he does stop abruptly behind her and then whistles for everybody to join him in a shallow stream. And they all gather around a dead Junie who is face down in the water.
Good? Bad. We want Junie dead, we think.
No.
Because Kara's after him.
Well, we don't know why she was mad. She was just mad.
Richard does make a really good point about they don't know why Kara was chasing Junie. So we can't assume Junie was up to anything nefarious, but she was chasing him.
Yeah,
angrily.
She was mad about something and she wanted to talk to Junie. That's all we fucking know.
Which, look, we know Kara. We love Kara, right? Not out of the realm of normalcy for Kara to be mad about something.
Yeah.
Kara get angry? No.
So she is that mad, but it's like it could have been like a small slight and she's gonna go kick his ass. Like, we don't know. Let's gauge though.
She immediately lunges at him when she sees him until she realizes that he's dead. So, yeah, I mean, gauge after the lunging, I guess.
Congratulations, Kara. You scared him to death.
Way to go. But there are no injuries to his body. It appears he did drown in inches of water with his eyes still looking lustfully ahead.
Very weird. And also, if I remember correctly, also very difficult to do, like, on purpose.
Well.
Oh, yeah. I think it's 3 inches is what they say.
1 millimeter of fluid for every kilogram you weigh. So a person weighing around 140 pounds could drown after inhaling a quarter cup of water.
Oh, that's inhaling.
wild to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard if you fall face down into a puddle, if that puddle is at least 3 inches deep, you will die. Because that's enough. That's all it has to be deep for both your nose and mouth to be submerged.
To be under, but then to be able to, like, either if you're knocked out, that's one thing.
Yeah,
But if you're just holding yourself there, then that's also.
John Wick drowned a guy in a sink. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be deep.
You could also dry drown, which is like, hours after you get water in your lungs.
Oh, yeah.
It can still like fuck you up. So like, just if he was just laying there in the water, just breathing, even if it was just a couple millimeters, as soon as a certain amount of water went in there, he wasn't getting enough oxygen anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 shocking things here. The first is that is an incredibly small amount of water that you need to inhale, like get down the wrong pipe in order to drown. I had no idea it was that little.
Yeah.
That's insane. But then the second is that he is in such a shallow amount of water and laying down with no apparent anything wrong with
Holding him down or
It
anything.
kind of implies that he did it to himself on purpose,
Yeah.
which is the second shocking
weird.
thing, that it's extremely difficult for the human body to just let itself lay there while it suffocates. Like, it'll start to kick and move and do things to get your face out of the water. But if you've already inhaled, it might already be too late, even if you do get back out of the water.
Because it doesn't take that long either.
No.
It only, for a child, it only takes about 20 seconds. For a fully grown adult, it takes 40 seconds for you to drown.
So the science tracks then, like Kara was just chasing this guy. He could have, right? We don't know yet. Tripped, fallen, drowned, and is just laying there in this amount of time. Is that what we're kind of trying to?
I think
Like maybe not likely, but possible.
Possible.
40 seconds is a long time during a sprint chase, though.
Let's get into because Kara then explains what happened.
Yes.
Okay. Kara had gone to check on him because she was doing her rounds, and she noticed him standing in a stream, and it looked like he was chasing a fish or something in the water.
Interesting.
But there was nothing there. So he wasn't at his station. He was just looking at the water kind of weirdly, and it took her as a weird thing.
Which tracks with what Richard was staring at in the water earlier, was something that was there that he couldn't see.
Yes. And you also have to remember that they can't speak to each other. So she tried to ask him where his weapons were, but this was more of like a miming, like, where's your fucking bow and shit. But he ignored her, which, again, is easier to do when somebody can't, like, yell at you urgently and have you understand.
When
right?
it's clear that you can't understand each other, I mean, you do your best, and at some point you go, okay, well, I've tried. I'm actively doing something,
Yeah,
apparently.
I was going to say, unless something else is more important.
Right, yeah.
And he ignored her and then charged after whatever it seemed like he was chasing when she looked away. And then that charging at her caused her to fall and hit her head. She then woke up a while later.
Okay.
There was a period of time where Kara was knocked out before she woke. So when she woke up, Junie was gone. And at that point, that's when she chased after him. So Junie could have been late. We have no idea.
Yeah, she says she doesn't know how long she was out for.
Right.
Yeah,
Could have been a short amount of time. Could have been 60 seconds.
So by
Could have
the
been
time
20 minutes.
Yeah.
By the time Richard and Kahlan were alerted by Kara running past, Junie could already be in the fucking puddle face down.
Yeah, he could already be dead.
And
Yeah.
And it could be up to an hour later.
It could be.
Don't know.
Yeah,
be.
we have no idea. I mean, we know that Richard. We don't know, actually. We have no idea how long Richard and Kahlan had been at the water.
Because the book doesn't follow them during travel. So
Right.
they could have been there.
They could have just gotten there. They
we
could have
just-
been there for 20 minutes already.
Yeah.
They were already in the water naked. So we know they spent at least 10, 15 minutes getting their shit off, right?
looking
Yeah,
around
absolutely.
to make sure that the guards can't quite see them.
Yeah.
Maybe testing his whistle out a little bit.
We do know it's being knocked out for more than a few seconds is like actually a
really not
hugely
good for you.
problematic
Yeah.
medical issue.
Super bad for you.
So if it's realistic, she was probably only knocked out for a second or two. But this is fantasy world where you can get knocked out, get dragged down a hallway, and wake up 30 minutes later and be totally fine.
Well, also, to be fair, okay, Kahlan starts to explain what's happening to the guys because they can't, can't speak common, whatever. As Kara starts to apologize to Richard for what happens, and he's like, dude, chill the fuck out, because she looks really bad. And she says she starts feeling nauseous.
Yeah.
So, like,
oh, that's a concussion.
Yeah, she had a significant head injury, and
Yes.
they do acknowledge it in this part of the book. I do want to give them credit for that. They aren't just like, yeah, she was knocked out for a while, no big deal.
Yeah.
She's sick.
We did talk about that on a side quest, that if you get queasy after being hit in the head, it's like bad and you should get to a doctor.
That is absolutely
Yeah.
a concussion.
I didn't realize that you're talking about a whole nother level of seriousness.
Yeah.
If then after you get your head rattled, that you also then start vomiting. It's like, it's very fucking serious.
Yeah.
Kara's CTE probability has increased exponentially today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So Kahlan at this point, she's like, all right, so just what Nate was saying earlier, Junie fell, hit his head, obviously, and drowned. But Richard's like, I don't think so.
Full Sherlock Holmes.
He has no marks. The only mud missing from his body is from his nose and his chin where they sat on the bottom of the stream, which did seem a little bit weird to me because I feel like he should be, like, if you were laying in water, the mud on your body should be getting whatever.
I think that's what Richard's trying to say. Like, hey, this dude wasn't here long.
I did think about this. The mud people put mud on their body to help them hide from enemies and to help protect them from the sun, right? So the mud that they put on their bodies is caked and dry mud, right? They have like mud in their hair. It
Yeah.
stays a little slicker. Now, it's not impervious to being dipped into a river, right? The water's obviously going to make it start coming back off of the skin. But I think there's something to that, to where it was dry and caked mud. It is waterproof, kind of, at least to the skin for a bit. So I don't think he was in this water for an hour or two, but maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, long enough.
Yeah, and also I was thinking long enough to cool the body down, I'm assuming, to where you couldn't like grab him and go, oh, he's still warm because he's been in cold water.
They didn't even try to save him, so he's obviously
clearly
cold,
dead
yeah.
once they looked at him. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, so you're right. I agree with you. So, Kahlan's like, or no, Richard said it. He obviously drowned, or at least it looks like he drowned from all the outside because there's no outside things. He must have just inhaled enough water. The question at this point is why? Why did he leave his post? Why didn't he have his weapons on him? And how did he lay down in the river and drown? Like, why? And he also wants to know what he was chasing. I do myself, that is the end of the chapter, but I want to point out that Junie is the one that said that he missed, quote unquote, whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Same guard.
So did whatever he was chasing, I don't know, start whatever connection it had with him then?
Could be. They do say, though, that it was a lusty look in his eye, which lust could be bloodlust. But I took it to mean sexy lust.
Kara didn't portray him aggressively chasing this thing. He was looking at it.
He was
wanted
distracted.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I'm going to kill whatever this thing is. Kind of
looks like he was just fucking around.
Yeah.
Not doing his job.
What is that? So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we pointed that out, that he is the same guard
Absolutely.
from earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, did he go chasing? Did he leave his post because he was feeling guilty? But then does that explain the lust? Like, this is the type of Sherlock-y follow-up situations I thought we would have gotten in 2 prior instances to now. And we're finally getting it. So good on Richard for finally getting to it.
Well, we are posing this question.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Richard doesn't bring up the fact that Junie is the hunter from earlier.
No, because of the Sherlock on the drowning incident, I feel like internally I'm hoping we're going to get insight in the next chapter or 2, or whenever this does get followed up, that he has internally been doing the red strings. Like, we're going to find out in like probably 2 to 3 chapters for sure. It's going to go more than that. He's been red stringing it. He's been trying to find out who Pepe Sylvia is, and that's going to lead to who killed the chicken. Or at least, like, I'm not saying we have to solve the thing, but like, we're making steps within the next 2 to 3. Big, actionable steps.
I think it's very obvious that Junie killed the chicken and then killed himself.
Oh, I did not think it was very obvious.
I mean, what? He didn't want to admit it to anybody. He accidentally killed the chicken. He did it messily because he was going to try and make dinner. Didn't work out.
He was going to do chicken waffles.
Yeah, and it didn't work out. It went really bad.
He was going to surprise him with breakfast.
So then everyone was like, oh, it was a wild animal.
Family.
And he was like, shit, I can't admit it was me. Fuck, I have to pretend like I almost got it. And it all went downhill from there.
You got to think of it in terms of variables. Think about it like it was a person that got murdered. Anytime there is a weird variable around a crime like that, it points you to somebody who at least has some fucking knowledge about it. So Junie being the only guy to speak up and go, oh, I just missed it. Okay, so we're questioning that guy for sure, right? And then all this weird shit happens. The one thing that really stuck out for my little wizard note here was I fucking love the way that they missed him the first time. Richard is behind Kahlan, right? She jumps right over him, but because he has the grass skirts on and his ghillie suit, right? They don't see that he's laying in the water.
Yeah, she's focused on Kara in front of her.
Yeah, and so the way that it's just, he's creepily found because they missed him the first time. And then here he is, totally stock still, when like Kara's doesn't know how long it's been since he's been gone. So she's just running based on what tracking ability? I'm not really sure, but they're just running.
Yeah.
And then, Richard is the guy to stop and he whistles for everybody. I thought that was kind of cool.
The intensity also going from like 1 million to 0 is crazy because everyone running. Someone
Chase,
could be
chase,
alive.
chase.
We don't know what's happening. Oh,
Bam.
dead person.
Dead body.
Yeah. Then Coach is yelling, all right, circle up.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay.
Oh, we got him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good.
This is the Richard I wanted to see. This is what I like. I'm very excited for the next chapter.
Pulling the threads. Well, this is chapter 3, so we've got 67 more chapters to go.
Nah, I think we're gonna wrap it up quickly.
Strap in.
Lot of thread for 67
I
chapters.
think most of those are blank pages. It's a mind trick. How crazy would that be? You go to buy a book, can't look at it beforehand for some reason, and it's just this fucking chonker of a book. You find out fucking 15 chapters done. And then it's just like maps and shit.
Blank pages all the way until the end, and that's where it says, oh, the butler
Scribbles
did
and
it.
doodles. Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's
Wild.
your turn. Write your story.
Ooh, that's good.
Well, that's our truth, and we would like to hear yours. Write to us in your journey books to podcastatt@gmail.com or find us on any of our social media. If you would like to support this podcast and hear some more silky smooth content, find us over on patreon.com/podcastatt, where every tear is a happy tear. That's all for us, friends.
That was beautiful. Thank you all very, very much for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
I really think this chapter proved my point that the birds are drones. What Junie saw
Holy
was
fuck,
a
where's the
reflection.
button?
Just cut
It's
it.
a reflection of
Just
a
cut
drone
it.
in the